In our last update, which was on Friday, we had one scenario on Bitcoin and also one scenario on Ethereum. For Bitcoin, I wanted to see a drop into our support level, $113,300, to then see a bounce to the upside. And then on Ethereum, same thing. I wanted to see a drop into our support area, which was this daily candle, to then see a reversal to the upside. And if you go over to the charts, for Bitcoin, unfortunately, this one did end up breaking my support, which was again 113.3, before bouncing to the upside. However, Ethereum played out beautifully. It dropped into our support area, a 4-hour imbalance at the lows, and then a very nice reversal to the upside, and a bounce of over 10% for now. So with that said, if you go over to Bitcoin, we then had another scenario which was outlined in our Sunday live stream, and what I wanted to see was a bounce into our resistance area to potentially see a reversal to the downside and take out weekend's low. And if you go over to the charts, well, we bounced into our resistance and we are now seeing a rejection. So as usual, before we dive into today's price action, I want to quickly recap what I personally did. Pretty simple as usual. On Friday, we jumped into my level, I took my long position and got stopped out. Now in hindsight, honestly, this wasn't the best long to take, simply because we had closed Friday right there, so it made sense to expect a range as usual, take out Friday's lows before seeing a reversal to the upside, which is exactly what happened. So again, not the best long position, but in any case, a small loss. However, yesterday, we moved into our resistance, which was outlined in Sunday's update. At first, even though we had very good volume, I wasn't really confident in the short, and even when we saw that wick, I did decide to sit this one out, which was the right decision in the end because we made another high, and this is exactly where I took my short position. Remained patient, as you can see. The only short that I took, we got a reversal to the downside, and this morning I did implement a take profit 1. So if we go over to the charts, we are seeing a bit of a bounce right now. So with that said, am I still expecting Sunday's plan to play out, or can we now look for higher prices? Well, inside of this range, I do have to say we only have one support level, which was actually hit on this drop, which is the value area low of this range. If you take it from this low, it comes in right there. But also, if you take it from this bigger range, it also comes in right on this low. Now, unfortunately, personally, I wasn't able to take a long position because I had just woken up. I took profits on my short, and I was still doing my analysis to see what long we potentially have. So unfortunately, I did miss this one. However, we jumped into it, hit it, and then saw a bounce to the upside. So with that said, how can you play around this? Well, in my opinion, you have two options. Either you can be aggressive and take a long position here, in which case you probably want to put your stop loss somewhere around the lows and then target much higher prices on Bitcoin. This is a bit more of an aggressive trade, which personally I don't like, but it's still a very acceptable long position. But for myself right now, I want to remain a bit more patient to see, can we get some sort of retracement to then see higher prices? Ideally, what I want to look for is simply for price to come down aggressively back below that low, and then if we see a reaction, I will open a long position for reversal to the upside. Now this scenario is not only because I missed the long position, but also because even though we do have very nice volume, this low was put in a bit too early in the day in my opinion. So that's why I could see a scenario where we take out that low one more time before seeing higher prices. However, again, if you want to be more aggressive, it's a personal decision. You can take the long right here. But again, for myself, I do like to remain a bit more patient, at least until New York open. Now, on the other hand, if we do indeed come back down, take out this low, and we don't see a reaction, then at this point, I would expect Sunday's plan to play out, and for us to come back down below the weekend's low, to test $111,000, which will be a massive level to then see if we get a nice reaction and a bounce to the upside. However, if we lose the support level, I do believe that the bull market will be in big trouble. Now, what is this level? Very simple as usual. Let's go on the 12 hour. we have a 12-hour imbalance and an order block, and then on the daily, we have a daily imbalance. And that's why this level is so important, because if you lose it, you would get back below the old all-time high, and then this would be a very bearish sign, and you could expect a much bigger drop to the downside. But again, at this point, we do have this local support level, which is holding and offering a bounce to the upside. So personally, a quick recap, what I want to do right here, I want to stay patient until the New York Open. If we can get a drop, take out this low, and we get a nice reaction, I will be interested in long positions for reversal to the upside. However, if we drop and lose this low, we don't see a reaction, then I would expect lower prices to hit our support level below $111,000 to see, do we get a nice reaction for a very nice long position, or do we lose this level, which would be a massive sign of weakness on Bitcoin. So with all of this in mind, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.